let's create another layout. This one's going to be for Ronnie Raccoon. I'm going to jump down to that one because that's going to be another linear layout, whereas the team roster will be a table layout. Opening day lineup is going to be another linear layout, but using a scroll view and a cards view, and the Johnny Cash Stadium will be a constraint layout. So in the project manager, I'm going to right click on layout, choose new, layout resource file, and we'll just call this one Ronnie. Actually, I'm going to do Ronnie layout. And again, this will be a linear layout. So I want to start again with the logo at the top. And since I've already done that in the linear layout, I'm going to go back to the menu XML, get the code, and we'll scroll up and grab the image view. Come back to our Ronnie layout, go to the code there, and paste. Now we're getting a little error on the app namespace not being available to us. And so I'm going to copy that namespace in from the menu. And that'll solve that problem. Let's take a look at it in our design view, and there is our logo. Now what will happen underneath of this is our text of the page, which will say Ronnie Raccoon, and then a button to the right of that that will return us back to the menu. So I want those two to be side by side, and working with a linear layout, I can only have one item basically on each, we'll say, row of our linear layout. But what I can do is bring in a horizontal layout as the next item. And in the horizontal layout then, I'm going to add a text view. And notice how we can indent items underneath or move them over to the left. I want this indented under, so it's a child of the linear layout. And then I'll also add a button. I'm going to add a layout margin of the horizontal, and again I'm just going to select horizontal margin. That'll bring everything in a little bit. When I did that, my button jumped to the left and the text view went to the right. Just kind of move those around again to however you want them. So here for our text view, we're going to set the text to our resource for Ronnie Raccoon. Now in the previous, we had a text title on the page that said main menu, and we'd set some attributes of that. So I'm just going to go to the menu.xml file, and I'm going to copy the code to center it, set the text to 24 SP, and make it bold. There's a text in here. I want to get rid of that because I want this to be different text. So I'll come back here to Ronnie Layout, go to our code, and I'm going to get rid of this line where we're setting the string to menu because we already set it to Ronnie. Come back to my design mode and see how it looks. So now it's the right size that I'm looking for. Button on the right hand side. I'd like to make that button a little bit smaller. So what I'm going to do is add some weights here. And if you might have noticed in the code, we had a weight of 1 for our text view and a weight of 1 for our button. So this should be sharing 50% and 50%. Now that's assuming how things fit. That's going to be an ideal situation that would be based on the contents. But I can force the text view to take a little more space. I'm going to change the layout weight to 4, and I'll leave the button at 1. So this should be 80% and 20%, or 4/5 and 1/5. So let's see the impact that that had, and we go back to our design view. And that achieved what I was hoping to achieve, is to make that button a little bit smaller. And I'm going to change the text of the button to be return. Now I'm going to go back to the strings. I don't have a string named return, so I'm going to take the menu one, copy it, paste, and let's change menu to return. And notice I can't use return because it is a Java keyword. So let's just make it back. So the text then will still be return. Okay, let's go back to our layout, and we're going to set the string here to be back. Now I want to add the image of Ronnie Raccoon. So I'm going to take the image view, and here I want to drag this over to the left because I don't want it as a child of the horizontal linear layout. I want it to be a child of the main layout, or our vertical layout. So here I'm going to choose Ronnie from our drawables. And you'll notice that my linear layout here is taking up the whole space of my page. So I need to change that linear layout for the height not to be match parent, but to be wrap content. And there's our image. So let's put a little more space on the left and right side, or start and end. So make sure I have my image selected, and we'll go to the layout margin horizontal, and again I'm just going to use that horizontal margin dimension that we set up. Now notice that my button and my text swapped around here. I'm going to move that back into place, and there then is our page for Ronnie Raccoon. And we might want to put some information about Ronnie Raccoon under here, adding a text view, talking a little bit about the mascot. I'm not going to bother to do that in this project, but I just wanted you to get a feel for using, again, linear layouts. If you wanted to add some text there, feel free to do so. In our next video, we will learn how to wire the return button to go back to the menu, and wire up our Ronnie Raccoon button to go to the Ronnie layout. If you just jumped into this video, you can see all the videos from the Android App Development Cohort playlist by clicking on the image in the lower right. And if you'd like to be alerted to future videos that I create, you can click my picture up in the top right and subscribe to the channel.